dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.
After an absolute knockdown, drag-out fight last week at Nashville Super Speedway, we now come to the New England area of the U.S. and the New Hampshire Motor Speedway up in beautiful Loudon, New Hampshire for round number 3 of the CleanRacing.net Truck Series. Tony Trapasso up in the booth with you tonight, and I do need to give a congratulations to one of my partners in crime, Mr. Frank Marchese, for being named Sim Racing Media Employee of the Month. Unfortunately, Frank got called away for a real-world emergency and was not able to join us tonight, but hearty congratulations do go out to Frank, and let him know in the live chat that you like the work that he's been doing. And as we come to round number 3, this is going to be the 4th race that these guys have done here at Loudon. Josh Lilly has won 2 of those 4 races, looking to make it 3 tonight. And we have also had 2 races with 0 cautions. So something to be mindful of as we move forward, that these guys do know how to get around this place. And as we are, bear with me here, as we are in the practice session still. About a minute and a half left. Let's take a quick look at the championship point standings as they're coming into tonight. Adam Duff currently sitting atop the pile. Only 7 markers to the good over Stephen Tuck. Stephen Tuck has a 2-point gap back to Greg Barnett. Josh Lilly has climbed, sitting up in 4th position right now. Jason Higginbottom came into last week as your points leader, left last week and comes into tonight 5th in points. Austin Carey made some big moves as he's up to 5th. And Lane Hosler up into the top 17. And Fred Garcia, after missing the season opener, has moved into the top 15, as has Nate Brown, last week's winner. First-time winner, I might add, Nate Brown here in the CleanRacing.net Cup Series. Hot laps underway right now. Josh Lilly currently sitting atop the pile by not a whole heck of a lot. As a matter of fact, only 50 thousandths to the good over Nate Brown. Parker Collins up there as well. As throw a blanket over your top 3, and then you got a little bit of a gap back to Dylan Grimm in 4th. But then it gets real tight again. As between Grimm in 4th and Chris Smith in 15th, you have less than a 10th. Qualifying getting underway right now. Let's see who's going to be the first one to actually roll it, and that's going to be Adam Duff, as there is the Philadelphia Flyers, number 28 of Duff, making his way out onto track. So we are going to take a look at times we're going to be posting up here tonight. Duff going to be the first one to lay down a lap, as he's the first one to actually take the green. Dylan Grimm out on track. Brian Toole out on track. Fred Garcia, Nate Brown, Parker Collins, and Josh Lilly and Evan Kinney all out on track right now. A little bit of an unconventional line there for Duff coming through 1 and 2. Looks like he may have overcooked it. But no, he's just trying to extend this track as far as he can on the first flyer. Gets it pointed straight as soon as he possibly can to start lap 2. Now he is going to go provisional P1. Immediately gets bumped off by Dylan Grimm by almost half a second. As Nate Brown out on track to take his first flyer. Actually, that's going to move Brown up into second. Parker Collins goes quick time. Brown going to call it a day. As Duff comes across, that's going to improve him up to P3. Josh Lilly's on his second flyer right now. Here he is coming off of turn number 4. Flirting with the... Oh, negates the lap. Well, darn. Evan Kinney out on track. Looks like he may have gotten into one on his first lap. Second lap. New paint scheme for Kinney this week. I'm kind of digging it. So second lap going to be the only one that's going to count for Kinney. That's good enough for currently 7th quick. It's Chris Smith out on track in that Kellogg's Frosted Flakes Toyota Tundra. Brian Toole jumps up to 7th quick now. Smith goes 11th quick on his first. So far, decent lap for Smith. He's going to improve on his time, but the question is how much? As he comes across the stripe for lap number 2. Does improve his time, does not improve his position. As now Jason Higginbottom out on track in the powerhouse Toyota Tundra. Quick look at the weather as we're coming into tonight. And, of course, nothing wants to play nice. Come on. Work with me here. It's Higginbottom's first lap. Not going to count as he did brush the wall coming off a 2. A little bit better line that time. Still flirting with that outside wall. Good head of steam going into 3, though. This could be one to contend with. Higginbottom comes off of 4 as Sykes and Barnett start to roll it. And Higginbottom does go up to 9th quick. Austin Carey sliding into 10th quick. As Greg Barnett out on track in the 38. Looking to have a better run than he did last week at Nashville. As he brings the POWMIA Ford F-150 off of turn number 4, lap 1. Going to slide him 13th quick, but we have seen guys pick up quite a bit on their second lap. Dan Sykes out on track right now, getting ready to end his first. There is the Hoonigan 66 of Sykes. You can see the weather conditions right now. Track temperature in the triple digits. That's going to be an interesting deal that these guys are going to have to contend with. Sykes goes up to 11th quick. Let's see what Barnett's second lap is going to do. Not going to improve, sitting 14th quick, and that is going to do it for qualifying. As we now click on over, we are going to bring up, come on, work with me. Bear with me, folks. I've got to restart my live timing and scoring so that we don't have this glitching going on. iRacing makes changes and SDK no longer works. Awesome. Here we go. Work with me here. There we are. Starting up on the pole is going to be Parker Collins for Tiny Dog Racing. Nate Brown, last week's winner, is going to roll off in P2. Row number 2 is going to go to Adam Duff and Dylan Grimm. Duff has been making some good waves since he's joined this series. 3 consecutive podiums, I believe, for Duff. 2 consecutive podiums for Duff. Jacob Grant and Josh Lilly, your defending series champion, going to roll off in row number 3. Brian Toole and Evan Kinney making up row number 4. Row number 5 is going to go to Jason Higginbottom and Austin Carey, with Dan Sykes and Jeremy Moore rolling off in row number 6. Row 7 is going to go to Dustin Harrell and Greg Barnett. Chris Smith and Stephen Tuck going to fire them off in row number 8. Mike McCrate and Fred Garcia going to roll it off in row number 9. And starting shotgun on the field in the 41 is going to be Brian Newingham. So 19 trucks scheduled to roll them here tonight, as we were just waiting for the final couple of stragglers to grid up. 4 total sets of tires to get them through this event here. As we are doing 120 laps here tonight. Field starting to get released. Pace car is rolling. It's going to be a fun one here tonight. Again, thanks to everybody for joining us in the live chat. Thank you so much for making us a part of your evening tonight. Let us know who you're pulling for. And while you're at it, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Turn on bell, or let us know you appreciate this. Every thumbs up this video gets really helps share these videos with the YouTube algorithm. Field starting to roll behind the Ford Mustang GT500 pace car. Parker Collins going to lead us down to green. Collins looking for redemption after giving away last week's race. as the field works its way into the 3-4 complex. The only thing that's left for me to say is it's time to wipe the laser and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some clam chowder because it's time to get it on in New England. Race fans, it's showtime! Collins pulls the trigger. Brown gets a better getaway as they home off into turn number 1. Three wide coming through 1 and 2. Down the backstretch they come. We've got cars into the wall already. Collins wrestles the lead back from Brown. It's Grimm under pressure right now from Grant. That is your battle for 4th. Evan Kinney right there as well. Kinney was the one that tagged the wall on the opening salvo. Oy. 45 of Grant, all sorts of sideways coming off a 2. Defending series champion Josh Lilly right there as well, sitting in 7th, as the 45 of Grant going to have the advantage coming through 3 and 4. That second lane is already starting to show that's really where you're going to want to be, unless you can just full on send it going into the corner and squeeze up on the guy that's on your outside coming off the corner and kind of force them to jump on the binders. A little too early to be playing those type of games right now, as we are keeping an eye on this battle between Grant and Kinney. Kinney on the low side, Grant on the top side, as they are still door to door. Grant gives a little bit of room to Kinney as they go into turn number 1. Kinney still running that low line. Josh Lilly playing limbo. How low can you go? Now, mind you, in two of the previous 4 races here, Josh Lilly has won. So looking to get his 3rd as he works by Kinney and now tries to reel in Grant. We are going to check back up at the front of this piece as Toyota domination as Collins and Brown run stem to stern. And then they've got the Chevy of Duff, and they're starting to pull a little bit of a gap on Grimm. That side-by-side that was going on with Grant has really started to cost him a little bit. Has gotten clear, but Grimm has the blinkies. That's got to be very unnerving for everybody around him. As Brown looks to the inside on Collins, going into 1 side-by-side. Collins given plenty of room. Brown showing a lot of respect, not overdriving the corner. As they almost touch coming off a 2. Still side-by-side going into turn number 3. Brown on the low side, Collins on the top shelf. Collins able to use that second lane to defend, but here comes Brown on the inside, getting a little bit better run on that repaved surface. Battle for the lead, hot and heavy right now. And they bang going into 1. And that is going to open the door for Duff. Duff gets sideways and gets finished off. We're around and we're under caution. Let's go back and take a look. Keep your eye on Duff there, as you can see him, 3rd truck in line. So Brown and Collins are going to bang fenders in turn 1. And it opens the door for Duff in the middle of the corner. And I couldn't tell if there was actually contact or not. Oi! Good grief. Let's go back and take a look. We are going to check in with the boys up top from the Choppa. Keep your eye on the orange and black truck 3rd in line. And we're going to be able to see there's Brown and Collins making contact. Collins comes down just ever so slightly as the 7 finishes him off. And oi! flinched every time I've seen that so far. That's Greg Barnett catching a race truck to the face. And something happened with Dan Sykes as well. This is what happened with Sykes. You see him in that Hoonigan 66 on the top side. And that is the 38 of Barnett. As they get into each other, and he noses it into the outside concrete. And this is what happened with Stephen Tuck. There you see Tuck in the Monster Energy number 10 on the bottom of your screen. And this is everything that happened in turn 1. Tuck trying to make evasive action. Just gets it woed down so he doesn't get into the 66. Heads up driving for the 10. So we're not seeing a ton of pit stops right now. Jeremy Moore in the 24 did bring it around to get some tires. Jacob Grant, Chris Smith, Dustin Harrell all taking fuel. Looks like Jeremy Moore took tires and Austin Carey took tires. Interesting strategy call, considering that they've only got 4 total sets to get them through the night, and you're not allowed to pick and choose your best takeoffs to put back on. So Brown going to lead us back to green one more time, as he did have the advantage when the caution flew. Josh Lilly up into 4th place. On the top side, you see him there in that Coke 48. Jason Higginbottom up into 5th. As pace car is off into the Geico restart zone. Brown drops the hammer, and we are back underway. As Brown can change lanes going into 1. As the 7 of Grimm and the 48 of Lilly go door to door. And something's wrong with the 18. He went way down onto the apron there, going through 1 and 2. Looks like he was trying to save it. Just kind of overcooked it there. That is a bizarre line. That truck must be a little bit on the tight side, because the only thing you're going to do being down there on that apron is just loosen the truck up. But he's putting all 4 tires down there. That's a bizarre line. And there you go. You see him loosening the truck up there, but that's going to hurt his drive off, as Lilly's going to be able to get to his door coming down the back straightaway. Looks like Collins was trying something, and he probably realized it wasn't going to work. As he goes to the inside of Brown, just sends it going into 1. Doing a little drifting on the apron. Must be testing to see what the truck's going to do if he has to hot foot a green flag pit stop. To see how much speed he can carry through that apron. As he's a little bit sideways now, tries to square the corner off to get a straighter shot down the front chute. That is some bizarre line. I don't know what he's doing, and I don't know why he's doing, but that's going to let him get to the inside of Brown. But here comes Lilly. His 2 Brownie Racing teammates running stem to stern on the top shelf. Collins down on the low side, though. As now Lilly is going to have the preferred lane going through 1 and 2. Oi! Don't be throwing cones. Didn't your mom ever teach you it's not polite to throw things at people? Lilly does have the advantage coming down the back straightaway. Parker Collins still running that weird line through 1 and 2. Not sure exactly what that's all about. But on the rebound right now is the 6 of Evan Kinney, as he had to come down to get some damage fixed after banging the wall on the opening lap. Goes by Jeremy Moore. In front of him, though, that is Jacob Grant and Brian Toole going after each other. Toole on the top side, Grant on the low side. We know Grant's not afraid to go bottom shelf. And he's trying to make something happen right now. Meanwhile, back up at the front, Nate Brown has stretched out a little bit of a gap to himself and the two behind him that are still door to door. And that has let Jason Higginbottom close in on those guys. Higginbottom staying just far enough back, and I think Parker Collins is the reason why. Because Higginbottom, the last thing Higginbottom wants to do is try to stick his nose in there and have Collins just drift up the track and tag him. Now Collins, right in the slipstream of Lilly, is going to try top shelf this time. Second lane, squares it off. Lilly throws the block, coming off a two. These two guys are going after each other like two kids in the backseat of a minivan on summer vacation. I'll turn this van around. I swear to God I will, kids. No, Dad, you want to go to Dollywood just as much as the rest of us do. Nate Brown, Josh Lilly, Parker Collins, Jason Higginbottom, and Dylan Grimm, your top five right now. Throw a blanket over your top four, though. As Higginbottom does have a little bit of breathing room, back to Grimm. Taking a quick look through the rest of the field. This is one of your closest battles on track right now, as Josh Lilly is filling the team boss's rearview mirror with that Coke Chevy. Here comes Collins back to the inside. A little bit of Tokyo Drift action. That's going to let Higginbottom get up there. Lilly getting a much better drive off with that more conventional line. Able to defend second place. I think Collins is just toying with these guys right now. Brown continues to show the way as we are 20 laps in the books. And Brown has led a good portion of them. We're going to check back in here. Battle for ninth as Toole has gotten by Grant, finally gotten him cleared. As Grant now fires back as Toole has to check up, almost getting into the wall on the backstretch. And just sends it going into three. Here comes Toole trying to cross over, coming off of four. Not going to make it happen as Grimm's Ford, now the only Ford in the top 10. And the same can be said for Josh Lilly's Chevy. It's the only bow tie in the top 10. Everything else, from 1st to 11th, it's a sea of Toyota badges. Still throw a blanket over these top four as they continue to run stem to stern. Looks like Collins given a little bit of leeway right now. Not able to get the drive off the corners. Lilly's going to send it going into one. Saw what Collins was able to do. Pulls alongside of Brown. Brown going to use that second lane to his advantage. Not a lot of rubber laid down on that apron. Lilly not able to get the drive off the corner that he was needing to make that smooth stick. And the last thing you want to do is get into the door of the team boss. Of course, Brown and Lilly both running for Brownie Motorsports. Evan Kinney starting to make some headway right now as he's working the inside of Grimm. That is your battle for fifth. Toyota and Toyota Crime as he almost gets into Grimm, coming through one. Shoves Grimm up high. He's going to straighten the corner out. Drag race down the back straightaway. Kinney on the low side. Grimm on the top shelf. As they haul it off into turn number 3, Kinney going to send it. Grimm going to have to let him go here. Just like that, Evan Kinney back into the top 5. Meanwhile, back a little bit further, that's the 16 of Harold going after the 14 of Chris Smith. That is Smith on the top side, Harold on the low side in the John Deere Ford. And they've got Dan Sykes all over them. That is your battle for 11th. So just outside the top 10, but they've got a 5-second gap to make up. So these guys battling side by side like they are. That's really letting Austin Carey, currently sitting in 10th, get away. We did miss the pass from Josh Lilly, as we are going to go back and take a look at the pass for the lead. And this was the said pass coming off of turn 4. You see Lilly get a good run, tucks in, gets the draft down the front chute, and just bombs it into turn 1. Uses that apron to loosen that truck up just a little bit, and just like that, Josh Lilly is now your race leader. So currently working lap 27 of 120. Full fuel fill. These guys should be able to get about 50 laps out of a tank and go fast here tonight. As that's Brown and Collins still going after each other. And they think they might be holding up Jason Higginbottom ever so slightly, as Higginbottom not sure exactly what Collins is doing. I know he's scaring the daylights out of me every time he does it. And I'm not even behind the wheel. So you got Lilly's Chevy, Brown's Toyota, Collins' Toyota, Higginbottom's Toyota, and Evan Kinney's Toyota rounding out your top 5. Then you got the Toyotas of Dylan Grimm and Jeremy Moore in 6th and 7th. 8th place is going to go to the Ford of Jacob Grant. Brian Toole's Toyota and Austin Carey's Toyota rounding out your top 10 as they currently sit. A lot of good side-by-side action. Throw a blanket over your top 5 right now, as they are running pretty much stem to stern. As looks like Bryant Newingham is the only one that did not start this race tonight. We've got a tie for your biggest movers so far. Josh Lilly, your current race leader, is up 5. Jason Higginbottom, there you see him running in 4th. He is plus 5. And then there's the 24, Jeremy Moore, who is also, say it with me, plus 5. And I know what some of you might be thinking, that U.S. Air Force on a Toyota. Well, technically, of the 3 makes of trucks, Chevy's made in Canada, Ford's made in Mexico. Toyota's the only one that's got a truck plant in the United States. So I can kind of dig that. As Brown and Collins going after each other again for 2nd place. Collins is not giving up on that unconventional line. I dare say that he's waiting for a caution and hoping he's not the cause of it, to try to get some adjustments done on that iBuyPower number 18, as apparently when he's up on the track, that truck is just stupid tight and will not turn. It's the only reason I can think of why somebody would go down on the apron like he's been doing. We're going to check in with Chief Cook and Bottle Washer here of the CleanRacing.net Truck Series. That is, of course, Fred Garcia, the newlywed. Just a couple weeks ago, Fred did miss the season opener as he was on his honeymoon with his lovely new bride, rocking Captain Crunch. Little known fact about that sponsor on Garcia's truck here tonight. Apparently, Canada doesn't have the same selection of Captain Crunch that we have down here in the States. They have one, and it's Captain. They don't have Oops All Crunch Berries. They don't have Crunch Berry Captain Crunch. They don't have Peanut Butter Captain Crunch. They don't have Chocolate Captain Crunch. They just have Captain Crunch. So I kind of feel for my brothers up in the Great White North. Let me know, and I'll send you a box of Oops All Crunch Berries if you want to. As now Evan Kinney has joined that fray at the front of this piece, as he has now caught Higginbottom. Made up the 2-second gap that he was down as that is Collins still pestering the heck out of Nate Brown right now. As Kinney and Higginbottom going side by side. That is the 8 of Mike McCrae, who just went a lap down to your leader, Josh Lilly, who has stepped it out to 3/4 of a second, now flirting with a full second to the good over this battle for second that I'm not sure if we would call this intense or not. But Nate Brown and Parker Collins have just been going after each other since the green flag came out. As Kinney and Higginbottom's right behind them, they are throwing their hats in the collective ring. Now they do have a little bit of breathing room back to 6th place. Dylan Grimm is a second and a half off of these guys. As we are going to check back with your battle for 12th. That's Dan Sykes on the top shelf, Chris Smith on the low side. Sykes running that Ken Block tribute scheme. And has anybody seen the Hoonapig yet? The newest car in the Ken Block fleet. Is right now, of course, Sykes running the Hoonicorn paint scheme. But the new Porsche that Ken Block has, I am very impressed with the engineering that went into that. As we are going to check back now, as Collins has gotten clear of Brown. Now Higginbottom goes to the inside. It looks like Brown may have gone too hard too soon. As now he is in a Higginbottom-Kinney sandwich from second, now down to 4th, and in danger of possibly losing 4th to Kinney, as Kinney is starting to apply some pressure. Again, this battling in the front is just insane right now. I want to thank everybody for joining us in the live chat. Let us know who you're pulling for. We'll try to highlight your favorite driver throughout the night. Are you wanting to see Josh Lilly get his 3rd win here at the Miracle Mile? Or do you want to see Parker Collins get his 1st win on the season? How about Jason Higginbottom? How about Evan Kinney? Let us know who you're pulling for. As just checking back through the field. This is some of your closest battling right now between Brown and Kinney. Sorry, that was Grimm. There's Kinney. Love that shot. Looks like Brian Toole is starting to reel in Jacob Grant again. Well, those two guys have not given up on each other again since the race has started. Toole and Grant have just gone after each other. And not in a positive direction, I might add. As Grant is down 3, Toole is down 2 from where he started. The only driver so far to hold court is that Falcon Tire double deuce of Austin Carey. Started 10th, currently running in 10th. And no pressure from behind as Dustin Harrell in 11th. Let's go back and take a look at him. He is 9 seconds behind Carey. And he's 9 seconds to the good over this battle between Smith and Sykes as they are about to go a lap down. So that means Josh Lilly has lapped all the way up to 12th. That is an insane pace. And getting through traffic like that has brought him a little bit of breathing room over Parker Collins. Here comes Toole back on Grant. Those two guys have not. I mean, it's just cats and dogs in a cage. Jennifer Dowling checking in tonight. And unfortunately, there he is. She is pulling for the 24, Jeremy Moore. I thought Jeremy might not have been here. I could not find his name for a second, but poof, it's a ghost. So yeah, currently holding down a very strong 7th position, up 6 from where he qualified. Didn't get the clean lap in that he was hoping for, but has made up 5 spots so far. No real pressure in front, no real pressure from behind. Just turning laps and trying to keep that truck in one piece. So good run right now for Moore. Let me pull up my handy dandy notebook. Coming up tomorrow, we've got a quadruple header on tap for you. Starting at 11:50 a.m. Eastern Time, it'll be the Night Shift Racing League season finale from Charlotte. And then at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time, we will have the AARL Trucker Street America Cup Series as they go to their season opener at Daytona. And then 20 minutes later, the Rickmatech Cup Series makes its debut with their season opener at Daytona. That's an 8:40 Eastern Time start on that one. And then the nightcap, we started it at Charlotte. We're going to end it at Charlotte tomorrow night as Western States Racing League goes to their round number 3 at Charlotte. And that'll be a 10:05 Eastern Time start for that one. And then we've got a full slate for you on Wednesday, as at 7:20 Eastern Time p.m. we have the Ghost Xfinity Series round number 2 from Vegas. The Gunner for SR Racing League will make its return to the Esports Broadcasting Network at 7:50 Eastern Time, as they have their season opener for their truck series. It'll be the New Era 150 from Daytona. And then we have the Way She Goes Racing League round number 21 from Homestead. That'll be an 8:50 Eastern Time start on Wednesday. So a lot of racing left to come here this week. And let's not forget that this coming Sunday, we have the ISNF Cup Series Season 4 opener from Daytona. And Timmy Stuff, yes, unfortunately the 38 just tried an ARCA brake that did not work, and just plowed in as he's still on pit road trying to get that engine changed out, because as soon as he hit, that shoved the radiator through the block and vice versa. As we're going to check back up towards the front as Parker Collins and Jason Higginbottom. So we got 52 laps in the books, or 50 laps in the books right now, working on lap 52. And I dare say that some of these guys looks like they might be trying to make it a one-stop event. Parker Collins, Jason Higginbottom still not letting each other get too far away. Nate Brown has kind of recouped a little bit. And of course, this battle back here for 8th between Toole and Grant. It's Toole in the Mobile One Toyota, and Grant's Carhartt, the number 45 Ford F-150. You know, let us know what make you're pulling for. What make do you drive in real world? And I honestly hope that if the rumors I've been hearing have any merit to them. With any luck, my favorite truck brand will be in the iRacing server within the next year. And I'll let you guys guess which one I'm talking about. This battle for 8th still the closest battle on track right now, as the rest of the field pretty strung out. You know, let's remember too that your race leader, Josh Lilly, has just been setting a blistering pace. He's already lapped the 4th, and now he's starting to reel in the 16 of Dustin Harrell. As Higginbottom going to be the first one to flinch out of the top 5. And there you see Harrell in the 16. And can we see him? No, we can't. As now Parker Collins is going to come pit side to try to cut off that undercut that Higginbottom was going to get. Lilly and Brown both stay out. There's Lilly. As he stays out again. Maybe? Yes, he is staying out. Nate Brown has decided to stay out. And that's going to really spread this field out. As there's Harrell just getting by the 2 lap trucks behind him. That is the 10 of Tuck and the 8 of Mike McRae. As there's Lilly, and here we go. We're about to see what fresh tires are going to do for Parker Collins. It's Collins sitting in his 10th place right now. And you can see just how much of a better run he gets off the corner. More importantly, what type of run he gets going into the corner. And he only lost 1 lap. 4-tire stop only gave up 1 lap to Lilly. Now got that lap back the hard way. As Lilly, Brown, Kinney, Grimm, Toole, Grant, Carey, Harrell, and Harrell, your top 8 still have to come down, as Brian Toole is going to bring the 99 down pit road. As there's Collins going by the 16. Now the 16 was down for fuel only back on lap 8 when we had that one and only caution that we saw tonight. Here comes Higginbottom working to the inside of Lilly, getting his lap back the hard way. Not pressing the issue too much, and it looks like Lilly might be coming pit side this time. Yes, he is. He is way down on the apron. So Lilly going to bring it pit side. That's going to hand the lead of the race back over to the team boss, Nate Brown, in the 69. Looking to get his second win on the season here tonight, going back to back. As Evan Kinney right behind him, just stalking the daylights out of him. Now Kinney does have 8 more laps that he can go over Brown, being as he was down on lap 8 to get some damage repair and refuel and service that truck. So if you're going to pull the trigger, you're going to have to do it quick. Because if you take a look at the last lap that Brown just ran, and you compare that to the last lap that those guys that have come down pit road ran, you're well over 3/4 of a second to the good for the guys that have already gotten their service done. And it was a 32:09 for Brown. As we are going to check in with Collins, as he goes 31 dead last time by. So right now, Brown is just hemorrhaging time. Now, I know he's one of the best at saving tires and fuel mileage, but as far as fuel strategy games, and Brown is going to come down the pit road this time, as that is going to hand the lead of the race over to Kinney. So all-important bonus point for the 6 for leading the lap tonight. We have so far had 4 leaders. Brown, Collins, Lilly, and now Kinney. Dylan Grimm going to bring it pit side. Jacob Grant stays out. Austin Carey stays out, looks like. Yes, he is. But Carey under heavy pressure right now from your effective race leader in the 18. That's Parker Collins. And you take a look at the gap from Collins to Higginbottom. That's over a second back. You can see Higginbottom just going into 3. There's Higginbottom, there's Collins right there. As again, Kinney and Grant still have to come pit side. Now they could have gone 8 laps longer than the rest of the guys around them. Same thing with Austin Carey, but at what cost? You can see just how easily the guys on the fresher tires are able to make those moves. Now Lilly has a little bit of an advantage as well, as he still has a distance to make up. About a second back off of Carey. As Brian Toole and Jeremy Moore are going after each other. Both those guys came down on lap 57 and 58 respectively. And Moore is on a tear right now. But your fast lap of the race so far belongs to that man in Coke 48. Your defending series champion, Josh Lilly, as he just reset fast lap. 30.64. And you compare that with the 32.5 that Kinney just cranked off. Kinney's got to bring that thing pit side soon. Currently your biggest mover at +7 though. You got to think his Brownie Racing teammates have got to be in his ear telling him exactly what's going on. As Joshua Lilly and Nate Brown both just went sub 31. Parker Collins all over the 45 of Grant. Grant still has to come pit side for his what should be one and done stop, as he came down for fuel only back on lap 8 when we had the caution. And it looks like he's coming down pit side this time. Yes, he is. So the lead lap trucks, that leaves Evan Kinney as the only one who has yet to come in for a service, since he came down on lap 8 under the caution to get a little bit of damage repair done on that new gen Toyota. Austin Carey and Chris Smith going after each other right now. Toyota on Toyota Crime. And you can see that wow in the front of Smith's truck. He has clattered the wall at some point. We'll definitely get a good look at this coming into turns 1 and 2. Oh wow. Yeah, that was a wall smack as Brown works back by him. And Parker Collins and Josh Lilly going after each other. Lilly with a 5-lap better tire advantage in that bow tie over Collins' Toyota Tundra. Lilly going to send it going into 1. Uses the apron just to free that truck up just a little bit. As Collins, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, fights back. Just like that, Lilly back up into your effective race lead, being as Evan Kinney still has to come pit side, but he's not going to be able to do it with a truck to his inside like that. He's going to have to call his pit and call it early to let those guys around him know what's going on. Now, mind you, we've only got 6 trucks right now on the lead lap. As that's Kenny, your race leader, Josh Lilly, Parker Collins, Jason Higginbottom, Nate Brown, and Dylan Grimm in the 7. There you see Grimm as he just got his lap back the hard way. And it looks like Dustin Harrell looking to get one of his laps back. Currently sitting 3 laps down, looking to make it only 2. And just like that, he does. Sorry, he was 2 laps down, looking to make it only 1. Higginbottom and Collins going after each other right now. That's Fred Garcia in the Captain Crunch, number 98, right in front of them. Fred has had a nice, quiet night, and I think it's a relief for once, considering some of the dumpster fires he's been caught up in that others have started in the past. Able to duck and dodge any incident that happened tonight, so good on you, Fred. Currently running 15th. And Evan Kinney continues to just click off laps. Now, he does have a 14-second gap back to Josh Lilly, but there's no way he's going to make it. The rest of this race is, we are 45 laps to go next time by. And that is Jeremy Moore looking to get his lap back the hard way. Moore on a good charge right now. A second to the good over your race leader. And you can see just how deeper he can go into the corners than Kinney can. Kinney's tires have got to be screaming at him, as this track is notorious for chewing up right front tires. And just like that, Jeremy Moore right on the race leader, looking to get his lap back the hard way. Here comes Moore on the inside. Kinney going to stay on the top shelf. Moore going to use that tire advantage as best he can. Not really pushing the issue too hard. Knows that he can get that truck rotated a lot more freely. And just like that, we now have 7 trucks on the lead lap, with Moore being the last one scored as such. Brian Toole going to be the next one in line, hopefully hoping to do the same, as there he is right behind your race leader. So Kinney's lead now down to 11 seconds, as he is, I said Nate Brown was hemorrhaging time earlier. In just the last 2 laps, Evan Kinney has brought that gap down from 13 seconds down. It's now down to just over 10 and a half. Now just under 10 and a half. And I think those lap trucks are really costing Kinney time. More importantly, the clean air that he doesn't have anymore is hampering him. He's coming pit side this time. Almost like he was listening to what I was saying. As that is going to put Brian Toole back on the lead lap. Jacob Grant now goes back on the lead lap. And Josh Lilly takes over the race lead. 2.5 seconds to the good over the 18 of Parker Collins, who has his rearview mirror filled with the 45 of Jacob Grant. Now Grant is 1 lap down to Collins, so that is not for position. The next truck for position would be that was weird. Collins going back to running those bizarre lines. The next truck in line is going to be this man here, who is +6. Tied for your biggest mover right now. That's Jason Higginbottom. Currently sitting in 3rd. He's got a 2.5 seconds to the good over Nate Brown, who sits in 4th. There is Dylan Grimm, who sits in 5th. He's 10 seconds behind Brown, but he's 6 seconds to the good over that man, Jeremy Moore, in the U.S. Air Force Toyota Tundra. And Evan Kinney comes out of pit road. He should be able to make it from here. The question is, did he leave it too late? As we've got 40 to go. So he's got to unlap himself and then work his way through the field a second time. And there you see him right behind the 99 of Brian Toole as Kinney sits in 8th. And I stand corrected. Kinney did stay on the lead lap, being scored as the last truck as such. So he just has to work his way through some pretty heavy hitters. As Josh Lilly, your race leader there on your screen, a little bit of drift going into 1, overcooked it just ever so slightly, gets it rotated and pointed straight. He is now 3 1/4 seconds to the good over that man in the iBuy Power Toyota Tundra. That is Parker Collins. Jason Higginbottom can see Collins in front of him. He has closed the gap. It was 1.5 seconds, now down to just over a second. And Nate Brown is starting to reel him in as that gap is just about a second again. Now the good news for Brown in 4th is he's got a 10.5 second gap back to Dylan Grimm in 5th. So the bad news if you're Evan Kinney, the lap delta right now for your race leader Josh Lilly was a 31.66 last time by. Evan Kinney did do a 30.98, so almost a second to the good, but he's got to make up 22 seconds. And then he's got to hope he's got enough tire left to actually make something happen in the closing laps of this piece. As Nate Brown has started to reel in Jason Higginbottom hand over fist. Brown was 0.3 to the good that last time by. Kinney still the only one putting down sub-31s though. As he still has about 4.5 seconds to make up to get back into the top 5. I almost got to think Kinney may have left it too long as Higginbottom gets a little bit squirrely coming off a 4. Don't tell me he hasn't been pushing that truck. Touches the apron, the truck shoots up the track. That's no bueno. And again, Evan Kinney goes sub-31. 30.99 last time by. Lilly with a 31.91. Parker Collins goes 31.82. Higginbottom 31.85. Nate Brown 31.9. And so Kinney right now is the fastest truck on track. I just think the gap is too big for him to make up though. As we are fast approaching 30 to go. Getting ready to put lap 88 in the book. There it goes as Lilly continues to show the way as he's now working through some lap traffic. That is Dan Sykes in the 66 and the 14 of Chris Smith. Now those two guys are for position as they go door to door. That is your battle for 12th. As Sykes was playing nice with the leader, not playing so nice anymore with the 14 is that is Brian Toole and Jeremy Moore going after it. A little Toyota and Toyota action here. So in your top 10, you have Josh Lilly's Chevy, followed by the Toyota of Collins, the Toyota of Higginbottom, the Toyota of Brown, the Toyota of Grimm, the Toyota of Kinney, the Toyota of Toole, and the Toyota of Moore. And then Jacob Grant's Ford F-150 is the only other non-Toyota truck in your top 10. As Austin Carey rounds it out in the top 10. Dustin Harrell right now in the 66 in his Ford F-150 is the last truck being scored on the lead lap. And here we go, Brown and Higginbottom. Brown just made that pass look easy. Let's go back and take a look at that pass for the podium position for Brown. He's just going to send it going into 3, it looks like. Runs Higginbottom up the track a little bit. Higginbottom jumps on the binders to stay off of Brown. And just like that, Nate Brown is back into a podium position. We do need to thank our very good friends at the Ringside Report for all your combat sport, MMA, boxing, and Olympic-style wrestling information. You can find them on all your favorite podcast locations. But without them, we would not be able to bring you this action here tonight. And once again, I do need to congratulate my broadcast partner, Mr. Frank Marchese. Unfortunately, he's not here tonight as the real-world emergency did bring him away. But today, Frank was named the ESBN Sim Racing Media Employee of the Month. So congratulations to you on Frank for that. Well deserved, as now Kinney and Grimm going after each other. Grimm still having some connection issues. That's got to be a little unnerving to Kinney, though. As now Kinney's got a shot to get back in the top 5. Big advantage there. Almost 12-lap newer tires, 13-lap newer tires. I can math, really I can. That's 15-lap newer tires for Kinney over Grimm. Grimm continues his backslide. Your two biggest movers right now in the race, this man in 4th, the 44 of Jason Higginbottom, is sitting +5, currently sitting in 4th. And this man who currently is leading the race, looking to get his 3rd victory here at the Miracle Mile in Loudon, New Hampshire. Josh Lilly +5, did not get the qualifying lap he was hoping for. Jeremy Moore currently sitting back in 8th. Nice quiet night. You know, Jeremy's not getting involved in a lot of fracases. As Chris Smith and Dan Sykes continue to go after each other. And they've got the leaders around them. That was... Yeah, that was Nate Brown in front of them. That is Higginbottom to the inside of both of them. And it looks like Sykes going to play some strategery and try to follow Higginbottom through. Smith given a lot of respect, as looks like the tire's starting to go on Sykes' 66. That truck not wanting to initiate the turn, so he's catching the apron just to try to free that truck up just a little bit on corner entry. As we continue to click them off here tonight from Loudon, New Hampshire. This is round number 3 of the CleanRacing.net Truck Series. And next week, we got a special treat for you, as we are going to the Tricky Triangle in Pocono, Pennsylvania. We crank off 75 laps for that one. And then the race I'm most looking forward to this season, round number 5, which will take place on August 1st, we will be going to Indianapolis Raceway Park. And that is what it has been since I was a wee lad. And that is what I am going to continue to call it. And Tommy, I've heard rumors that yes, the Mopar brand might be coming back to NASCAR as a whole. But I've also heard that another Japanese make might be throwing their hat into the ring, as they also have a full-size truck that would fit the current stature of what's currently out there, as well as cars that would fall into the same realm as the car makes in NASCAR's top 3 touring divisions. So right now, as we are 20 to go, it'll be 19 this time across the stripe. Josh Lilly, 2.5 seconds to the good over Parker Collins. And there is Collins. That's what 2.5 seconds kind of looks like. As he is 3.5 seconds to the good over Nate Brown, your your outside front row. As Collins and Brown had gone after each other for the first good half of this race. And we see Fred Garcia just getting up and out of the way. Nice quiet night for Fred, not getting into other people's troubles. Good solid night. Fred still in your top 15. But Nate Brown has a 2.5 to the good over Jason Higginbottom, who is still 7 seconds to the good over Evan Kinney. And Kinney's lap times have dropped dramatically. And he is running on par with what the rest of the field are running now. High 31s, low 32s. So, yeah, unfortunately, it looks like Kinney guessed wrong on when he wanted to pit for tires. Just left it too long, as we are 17 to go. Field pretty strung out right now. No real side-by-side action to speak of. One thing of note is this man right here, Jeremy Moore, being scored as the last truck. Sorry, now the first truck a lap down. Just as I was looking at that, he did unfortunately fall a lap down. But a solid 8th place finish and no pressure from behind, as Moore is 15 seconds to the good over the double deuce of Austin Carey. Carey is 14 seconds to the good over that John Deere F-150 of Dustin Harrell. But Josh Lilly continues to crank him off, as he is looking to put Brian Toole a lap down. So far, we have 7 trucks left on the lead lap. And that's the pace that Lilly has been setting here. The next one in danger is that Mobil 1 Toyota Tundra of Brian Toole. And I don't think he's got enough to hold Lilly behind him. Lilly's just making a game of it now. As that is not going to help his cause any, as Toole now goes side by side with the 16 of Dustin Harrell. Hey. And that is going to hold up your race leader. That is not what Lilly wants to see. As they do get single filed out and do give way to the leader. Lilly working that low line like he's been doing all night. One of the only drivers he and Parker Collins are the only two I've ever seen use the apron here with any modicum of success. Normally, where you see, let's go back and take a look at where Moore was running there. If you take a look at the line Moore is running, that's normally the fast line around here. that second hash mark off the apron. But, Lilly and Collins have been able to go, as Collins using the apron again. A little bit of a wiggle. Looks like he may have tail slapped the wall as we are 11 to go. And Lilly has got clear track in front of him. And now Collins has 3 lap trucks between him and Josh Lilly. That is not what he wants to see right now. Ten to go. Lilly continues to show the way, and Collins continues to use that very non-traditional line through the corners. And I think it's one of those situations where he knows that he's got to hope Lilly steps on his own feet to have a shot at this one. He's just having fun with it right now. I'm not saying he's given up, but he's not pushing the issue. And the 8 to go next time across the stripe as Lilly comes off a 4 with a good head of steam. Jeremy Moore does have a shot at getting to Brian Toole. But the 16 of Dustin Harrell is standing in his way right now, and Parker Collins is filling his rearview mirror. As Harrell in that John Deere Toyota F1 or Ford F-150. Be still my heart. Is the only other non-Toyota in the top 10 other than your race leader Josh Lilly in his Chevy. Now Collins has gotten by Moore. Moore looking to probably follow him through to pick off the 2 trucks in front of him, but they are running out of time quickly. Speaking of running out of time, Evan Kinney has chipped into that lead that Higginbottom had that was north of 10 seconds. It's now down to 5 1/4. And again, what could have been, Kinney just stayed out way longer than he probably should have. And who knows what we'd be talking about right now if that had been the case. But with 5 to go, Josh Lilly has completely just dominated tonight. Has clinched most laps led. And is looking to get his 3rd victory out of 5 starts here at Loudon. Little bit of tail wag coming through 3 and 4. That truck might be starting to go away on him. Four to go. Fred Garcia giving plenty of room. Coming through 1 and 2. Lilly gets it pointed straight and drops the hammer. Only a couple retirements to speak of tonight. Adam Duff calling no mas after lap 8. Stephen Tuck has put it on the hauler, as has Jacob Grant. Greg Barnett, though, hats off to Greg Barnett and that F-150 team, as it took him 31 minutes to get that truck back to where it would drive. And you can see just how hard he hit on the front of that piece. That was during that one and only caution that we saw tonight. 5 races down in the books. And of the 5 races, let me double check my stats here. Come on. Of the 5 races here, there's only been a grand total of 9 cautions. And remember, 2 of those races were caution free. Final lap, white flag in the air as Josh Lilly just has 1 more mile to go. As he works his way down the back straightaway for the final time. And through 3 and 4. He can see it now coming off of turn number 4. Checkered flag in the air. There you see it. Josh Lilly, your winner. Parker Collins crosses for second. Here comes Nate Brown in third. Jason Higginbottom in fourth. And there is Evan Kinney rounding out your top 5. As there you see your defending series champion. As we are just waiting for everybody to get into the Discord server, we are going to step away, go side by side, and pay a couple of bills. We'll be right back after this.
Drivers that took time, all of them within 3.5 tenths of each other tonight is going to be a very closely competitive race.
As the field works its way out of the 3-4 complex, the only thing that's left to say is wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point safety harness, because race fans, it's showtime!
Amazing looking cars already. Green flag will fly.
Oh, the rocket! Well, one thing that you're going to see at this track that we haven't seen the last few weeks is a surface that's multi-group. I think this is the first multi-group surface we're going to have.
After an amazing race at Daytona, we now come to the left coast and Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California for the second round of the Way She Goes Racing League Cup Series. And we are back from Loudon, New Hampshire. And joining us right now, the namesake for the team that just won, and you put 3 trucks in the top 5. Nate Brown, talk us through that race, because you and Parker Collins were just going after each other in the first half of this event.
Oh yeah, that was a ton of fun with Parker. He really showed me there's way more than one way to get around this track, because I was like, there's no way that's going to work in the long run, so I was kind of holding him up a little bit, so I feel a little bad if you're listening to this. Sorry, Parker. But I really didn't think that was going to work. Just there's no grip down there, I thought. So that was crazy.
It was definitely an unconventional line.
Yeah, no, I was impressed. Hats off to him. That was great.
Well, hats off to you for your second consecutive podium. This is definitely turning into a season for Brownie Racing.
It's no surprise that we were going to run well here. Josh just dominates this track every time we get here.
3 wins.
He's such a good driver. Yeah, he's so good here. It kind of rubs off on the rest of us every time we get in a practice session with him. He shows us the way. So, yeah.
Well, we go to a completely different animal next week as we go to Pocono, Pennsylvania in the Tricky Triangle. What are your thoughts going into that super speedway?
I'm not as confident there. It's been a long time since I've driven that track, and I wasn't that good last time we were there. I might take that week off. I've got a lot going on, so we'll see what happens. But I know Evan won last time we were there, so I kind of expect him to be the car to beat next time we get there.
Well, there you go. But I do need to congratulate your entire Brownie Racing team. As I just looked, you put all 4 trucks in the top 10.
Yeah, where did Jeremy end up?
Jeremy finished 8th.
Yeah, congrats to him. That was a great racing for all of us. So.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the type of race that a team owner dreams of. You know, putting all 4 of your cars in the top 10. That's really going to help with this season's point standings. But, Nate, we're going to let you go celebrate with your team. But before we let you go, who do you need to thank?
Yeah, all the Brownie Racing guys, Josh, Jeremy, Evan, Kevin, and then Fred for putting the lead together, and then you, of course.
Absolutely. So, Nate, again, congratulations on putting all 4 Brownie Racing trucks into the top 10. Best of luck to you next week at Pocono.
Thanks. Take care, Tony.
And joining us now, the driver that we were talking about running that very unconventional line through the corners here, driver of the iBuyPower Toyota Tundra, Mr. Parker Collins. And Parker, I gotta ask, it's the elephant in the room. I've been wanting to ask you this all race long, but we didn't get a caution from you to be able to do it. Why?
There's a little bit of grip down there. A friend of mine from Shenandoah Shine showed me that a while back, last time New Hampshire was around, and seems to work all right. Not enough. There's just not enough grip down there for me to do it the whole time, and you gotta really send it in there. But it works pretty good when you need it to. Definitely an option when you can't really get around somebody. But yeah, I went back to it a couple times there on that last stint just to try and reel Josh back in a little bit, but I just didn't have anything for him there.
Well, I mean, I know that these trucks have a tendency to get a little tight, especially late in the run. So I was kind of thinking that might have been what you were going after, to try to free the truck up to get it to rotate. But the fact that you were doing it lap after lap after lap after lap, I was scratching my head and other parts of my body that I don't want to talk about. But it was wild to watch you do that.
Yeah, it's definitely a very interesting line, because I mean, you gotta cut the corner off. I mean, you're almost hitting the end of the pit road wall going into one, and then you swing it out almost into the first bottom lane, and then cut it right back against the wall coming off of 2, and in principle 3 and 4. But I mean, you're almost stopped in the middle of the corner trying to get the car to rotate back down the track. It's definitely an interesting line, but if you can do it right, you can find a little bit of speed out of there. Just didn't find enough speed there at the end. Yeah,
that was absolutely the one. The one thing we were actually seeing is the guys that were able to run that more conventional line, especially on corner exit, they were getting a better drive off the corner because you had to woe that truck down so much. But we'd go to a completely different ball game next week as we go to the Pocono Mountains and the Tricky Triangle. Your thoughts going into Pocono next week?
I enjoy Pocono. Pocono is it's a pretty interesting track. All 3 corners are so completely different. But I enjoy it. As long as you can set yourself up for a good exit, because there's so many long straights that you should be relatively okay, and saving your tires there. But yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully we can put our Toyota Tundra in victory lane finally. I feel like we've kind of been hitting a brick wall at the end of all these races, and hopefully we can finish one out here soon.
All right, Parker, who do you need to thank before we turn you loose to go celebrate the podium?
Just all the guys over at Tiny Dog Racing. They did a good job this week. Fortunately, nobody else could make the race tonight, but ran pretty well in practice. Get off on the track.
All right, Parker Collins, congratulations on podium here at Loudon. Best of luck to you next week at Pocono.
Thank you.
And the young man who put on a clinic on how to get around this relatively flat 1 mile up here in Loudon, New Hampshire, third win in 5 starts. Josh Lilly, congratulations.
Thanks. This race was it was pretty straightforward. Just the strategy was easy, just a one stop halfway, and luckily I had the speed to just kind of slowly pull away from everybody.
You did at that. I mean, just put on a complete clinic of how to conserve tires. I mean, this is a track that's notorious for eating right fronts completely off cars. Talk us through, because I saw that you were using that apron trick by dipping 2 to get the truck to start to rotate. Was that something you planned on, or was it just something you stumbled on?
It's the line I've always been running. Try and keep it straight off the corner and get as good a run as possible, and also keeping the truck as straight as possible can also help save tires. So.
Absolutely. But, Josh, we're going to be doing a lot of straight line action next week, as we're going to go to the track with the longest front straightaway that we're going to visit all season. What are your thoughts going into Long Pond, Pennsylvania, and the Pocono International Speedway?
I haven't done very many racing at Pocono, so it's going to be kind of an unknown for me.
Fair enough, but you got 7 days to practice it, my friend. Before we turn you loose, who do you need to thank for tonight?
I want to thank all my Brownie Racing teammates, also Fred for putting on this league as long as he has, and you guys for broadcasting it.
Absolutely, it's our pleasure. So, Josh, again, congratulations on getting your first win on the season. Best of luck to you next week in Pennsylvania.
Thanks.
So that is going to about do it for us tonight. We've got another one in the books. Taking a quick rundown of your finishing order. Josh Lilly, Parker Collins, Nate Brown, we just heard from those 3. That was your podium. Jason Higginbottom hanging on for 4th. Evan Kinney coming home in 5th. Again, I think Kinney just stayed out too long under that green flag scenario that we had. He did have the fuel advantage, but he lost it to the tire advantage. Dylan Grimm coming home in 6th. Brian Toole in 7th. Jeremy Moore in 8th. Austin Carey and Dustin Harrell rounding out your top 10. And now, mind you, Grimm in 6th was the last truck on the lead lap. So then we go to Chris Smith, Dan Sykes, Mike McRae, Fred Garcia with a top 15. Congratulations, Fred. Nice run. Nice, solid, clean run tonight. Jacob Grant rounding out your top 15. Stephen Tuck, Greg Barnett, and Adam Duff, and Brian Newingham did not start. So that is going to do it for us here tonight from Loudon. Congratulations to Josh Lilly for getting his first victory on the season, and now 3 races in, finally getting a way to kick off that title defense in proper form. And congratulations to Frank Marchese for being named Sim Racing Media and Esports Broadcasting Network Employee of the Month. Again, be sure to join us tomorrow. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button and turn on bell notifications, because we got a quadruple header for you on Tuesday, starting at 11:50 Eastern Time. And then we've got a triple header for you on Wednesday. So on behalf of Fred Garcia and the entirety of the CleanRacing.net Truck League, this is Tony Trapasso. A reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that as you walk down the road of life this week, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.